So you want to make your homeschool fun and you want it to be a place that the kids love to be. Well, how can you do that? A great way is to incorporate some fun field trips into your homeschool day. And here we're going to be talking about a few different ideas you can use to spice up your homeschool day. Before we get started, make sure you sign up to this channel. If you're on YouTube, make sure you click the alert button because I'm going to continue releasing more videos like this to help you not only understand homeschooling better, but also to talk you through great homeschooling methods and curricula. My first field trip idea is to go to interesting historical sites like museums. These are great places where children can go and look at historical items, and they have the plaques so they can learn about them, they can learn about the dates that were involved in them, and also museums seek to make them really interesting. Make sure children bring a notebook and some pencils so they can jot down their thoughts on different things, and give them a camera to take photos. They might be able to download those photos later and make a bit of an assignment out of what they're looking at. You can also direct children to look at the subject before you go to the museum, and that way when you go to the museum, children are even more interested in the topic because they've studied it a little more beforehand. A great way to learn about your country is also to walk through the state capitol. So just to see what the laws of the country are based on, you can go into your parliament, go see the people at work who are making your country what it is. It's an amazing way to learn as well. It may seem a bit morbid, but I actually think a great field trip idea for homeschoolers is to walk through a cemetery. There are so many things to observe, and it just brings up those topics that are hard to talk about, things like death, but in a really perhaps natural way. Children can look at the ages people have died at, and yeah, it can be just a really great talking point. They can also talk about the different names, and yeah, there's so many things to talk about, so make sure you go visit a cemetery. Of course, you can't beat a zoo. A zoo is a great place to look at all the animals. Before you go to the zoo, make sure you get your homeschoolers to have a quick look at the different animals that might be on display in the zoo. That way, when they get there, they can observe them with even more knowledge, and they'll be more interested and they'll be more inclined to remember what they're seeing. Very similar to this is the aquarium or zooarium. You can go here to observe your zoo animals essentially in sea form life. And what this does is, again, it just gives children a picture of all those things that they're going to see under the sea but at close hand. A lot of main cities or main areas have a botanical garden. This is a place that gardeners put a lot of effort into, and they care for the plants. There's also a lot of Latin names attached to the normal sort of vulgar names, and children can learn different species of plants. It might be a good idea for children to get a sketch pad and sketch out the different trees or plants they see and label them in a book. This will actually come in handy because they'll find that the plants that they've looked at, they'll be able to recognize them in future out in the garden, and this will be very, very handy. If you have a good camera at home, another great option is to go bird watching. So you can do this with a pair of binoculars, that sort of thing. With a good camera, it means you can zoom right up to the bird and have a look at them in their natural habitat. I have a camera at home and it's able to zoom a very, very long way, and I can see things like baby birds in their nests, and that's just incredible to photograph, video and look at. Camping is also a great way to get children outdoors, smell the fresh air and observe things in nature that they're not going to see inside the house. So you can go hiking and set up a camp, that sort of thing, Duke of Edinburgh style, and just observe the nature around and have a great time. Another great place to go is a hospital. See if you can pre-arrange a visit with somebody on site beforehand, and then they can show you around the place. A hospital is a place where people are obviously very sick, so children will have to be mindful of that, but it is a great place where children can learn about equipment like blood pressure machines, emergency buttons, laboratories, that sort of thing. A lot of kids in the city might really benefit from a trip out to the country, to a farm with animals on it, cows, that sort of thing, and they might just learn a little bit more about where our milk comes from, where our eggs come from, that sort of thing. I've seen a lot of kids who actually don't know that chicken comes from an egg and milk comes from a cow. At least cow's milk does. And I think that's a really great lesson for kids to learn. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments section below. So that's it. If you want any more information about homeschooling, check out my website, howdoihomeschool.com. If you've liked this video, please like it, share it, comment on it, that sort of thing, and I'll see you in the next video.